Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
I'm Ryan Newman.
And I'm Trey Newman.
All right, on today's episode, we are previewing a huge game in the Big Ten East, Penn State at Michigan, both undefeated. But first question, which key players do you think need to step up, or which matchups does Penn State need to exploit in order to pull off this mild upset?
Right. Well, I think Sean Clifford, Penn State's quarterback, he needs to outperform his freshman counterpart, J.J. McCarthy, Michigan's QB. Freshman to senior, quarterbacks are the hugest part of the game, of course, because even if they're even, and McCarthy does a decent job, I don't know. It'd be hard for Penn State to win that game if McCarthy plays to the same level as Sean Clifford. I just don't see Nittany Lions being able to consistently run the ball enough to relieve maybe Sean Clifford. So Sean Clifford's got to make some plays through the air, and that's kind of been, story of his career. As he's in these tough games, good teams, he hasn't necessarily been able to push the ball downfield and have a consistent passing attack. But all you got to do is hit a couple here, because Michigan, all on the flip side, isn't exactly the most explosive offense, and Penn State's got a really, really good defense. So Clifford's going to have to hit a couple deep shots. Skill guys like wide receiver Parker Washington, even the tight end Bretton Strange. If he could just connect on a couple of those, not turn the ball over, just outplay McCarthy just by a little bit, then this game will come down right to the wire, like it did last year in Happy Valley.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm looking at Penn State and their defensive line. I think, or I guess their front seven. They have to prevent Blake Corum from running wild. I'm looking at guys like P.J. Mustipher on the line, maybe Abdul Carter, Curtis Jacobs at linebacker. So if Manny Diaz's defense forces Michigan and J.J. McCarthy to have to sit in the pocket and beat them, then the Nittany Lions have a shot here. Corum, he's just been the man, really helped the offense flourish, so slowing him down would obviously go a long way.
I'm looking at the same thing, because I just, Penn State's offense is definitely better than it looked against Northwestern a couple weeks ago when they fumbled a million times, but it's not like it's great. So I really think their defense needs to kind of shut down Michigan as much as they can. And Michigan's O-line lost their highest graded tackle per Pro Football Focus to injury last week, Trenton Jones. So that's something to look out for. And yeah, Penn State's defensive line is very good, especially on the edge. And like you mentioned on the interior, P.J. Mustipher is getting, hopefully closer and closer back to his pre-injury self. Yeah. His last game against Northwestern was his best game of the season. So if he's closer to full strength, that'll go a long way. But let's move on to our picks against the spread. Michigan is favored by 7 at home. What are you thinking here, Trey?
Yeah, and I mean, Michigan really hasn't done much wrong, but I'm going to pick Penn State here. And it's kind of funny because we're sitting here going into week 7. We don't actually know how good Penn State really is. They had a nice win at Purdue to start the year, but we saw they could have easily lost. Then they whipped a down Auburn team. They've kind of gone through the motions in recent weeks, but I'm picking them as they're coming in fresh off of a bye week. I've been buying a James Franklin kind of comeback story. They've clearly been they're clearly the best team Michigan will have faced this year, and they got a strong run defense going up against Corum. The pass defense has been a little vulnerable, but I don't know if J.J. McCarthy has really truly proven that he can sit back and pick apart the defense. And you look at Michigan last week; they were in somewhat of a fight in the second half with Indiana. So Clifford, he's been smart with the football.
Not somewhat.
Yeah, he's been Clifford's been smart with the football. I like Singleton running the rock. I'll take the touchdown with the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, I'm with you, Trey. I got to take the touchdown. A full touchdown is pretty gravy. It seems to me for the Nittany Lions. Their defense is really, really good. Michigan had 10 points throughout that Indiana game for a really long time. I know it was just one game. You can't just different situations always, but that's alarming. Indiana is not very good, though. It's not a great defense. Michigan struggled for a while there. Penn State is a different beast on defense. They're good up front. They got a good secondary, some really great players. Joey Porter Jr. is awesome. And Maryland was right there with them, neck and neck in Ann Arbor. So, I don't know. I just don't feel like I don't know what I could point to for Michigan that's just like, okay, they're clearly head and shoulders better than Penn State. They're going to win by more than a touchdown, more than one possession. This is the best team Michigan's faced. It's also the best team Penn State's faced, but I just expect it to be a close game. I'm not seeing, it was close last year. They seem relatively similar in talent and ability. There's offenses and defenses both seem about the same. I don't know. I just don't think there's that big of a gap between these two teams. So I gotta go with the big point spreads there, +7.
I agree. All three of us are going to take the 7. I think Penn State's defense will keep that running game reasonably in check. And, McCarthy's going up against a pair of really good corners. You mentioned Joey Porter, also Kalen King on the other side. So I don't see him lighting it up through the air in this game. I think we see a relatively low-scoring game, and 7 points could be valuable. So that is our pick. That's it for this episode of the College Football Bros. Let us know your pick against the spread in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe if you like college football. We have another episode coming out this week covering the Alabama-Tennessee game, so be on the lookout for that. Might be out already, and we'll see you next time.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.